the stream. Okay, so you'll have been back in second term now for about 2/3 of the term time, so a couple of months. Everything has been going smoothly, your classes have been going well, and as it always seems to be at Strixhaven, you have these really sort of busy days that, you know, everything culminates at once. And on this day, you have had, let me list it out for you. I don't know what that accent was. You've had the studying the night before, and then the next day you've got getting the book from Drasimir to try and help out with either Quintilius's thing or to help Drasimir, and to find out some more information about the passages that it has about the ancient Loxodons that you've already sort of touched upon. Then you've got your exam, followed by a potential game of Beholders and Behears with a bunch of the students you already know, hosted by the Live Action Roleplay Guild. And then later that evening, you've got the talent show, followed by potentially a night out on the town to celebrate with everyone, or maybe even helping out a friend of all of yours, especially Drovoraxis. So that's what's kind of coming up and what's on the horizon. But you started last session with a scream, and you're in your dorms. And Thomas, what happened next?
Can you repeat that? Sorry.
You
I was looking at Steven Universe gifts. I'm sorry.
That's all right. You woke up with that screaming at the start of last session. Can you just fill us in with what happened next with that bit?
Yeah. We woke up in a weird fusion space where we shared rooms with a few classmates. I, for example, woke up with Kodoris, and I forget who was with who exactly, but I know Aurora was another one, Mina, and perhaps someone else as well. I can't quite recall.
Mm-hmm.
But us, in collaboration with them, tried our best to escape the face spiders, either the grown-up versions or the always there, we didn't know about it, large face spider queens. That's where we're at. It's a bad time.
Yeah, that was the start of the session, and then from that, you managed to defeat the spiders, and the two places seemed to separate, but not all was left entirely as it was. Jess, can you let us know kind of how things ended up and what happened next after that?
Just got up.
I'm asking the worst people. Well, it's just
a relationship point with Mina. That's good to know.
That was good. It's because I again found a feather, and I think somebody else found something else. There was also,
yeah, a feather. You're right.
There was also like a glass magnifying paperweight thing.
Yeah.
Who found that?
So, I thought that Kodoris had that, and then we looked at it, but one of the NPCs had
maybe
it first.
Okay. Yeah, and so you met them outside the dorms, didn't you?
Yes, and so we took a look at it, and what we realized was that it was actually like a looking glass into a different space, like a small village, and it seemed to be like moving.
Right. Yep. It was purple grasses and greens, and then in a pond at the center of this sort of field, there was an underwater town or village that seemed to like have people and life moving in it. A submerged, strange town that you could just about see in there. After that, Spirit, where did you lot go on from after talking with the NPCs? Has Spirit gone as well?
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Didn't realize I had muted myself.
So anyone I choose today is gonna have problems. Nice, we got this.
It'll be wonderful.
You're going.
So yeah, we all kind of gathered in. I don't know what you call that. The main area.
The bibliothèque,
guess.
or
oh,
there was a rest. You had a rest. Yeah, we haven't actually like picked up on the rest. Was there anything from the rest that you wanted to mention? You had a short rest, I think. Or was it? I don't know where you short rested actually.
We short rested with Drazimir. He like had a breakfast.
Oh, so it wasn't a bit. It's in the
breakfast?
student cafe sort of area then and stuff. If we go, actually, I can show us.
Yeah, but before that, we were approached by Dragon's Guard, who started asking questions.
that's right.
Oh,
Yeah.
let's go
All
with
of our,
that.
like,
Go on then, Jess.
yeah. Well, they were asking questions about like the rooms and what happened and like, was it, what kind of energy was there? And Seymour was like, there were no mage hunters, okay? And they were like, how do you know about that?
Mhm.
And then they tried to get us to like come with them to like give statements or like do, like answer more questions and stuff. And we're like, nope, we're kind of busy. We gotta go. Bye.
Mhm.
Oh my god! And when we were like, we fought a mage hunter before, they're like, oh, you're that group.
Yeah, you're that
Mm.
group.
Rude.
Like, excuse me.
We're
little
here
bit.
in front of you, people.
No,
People be rude as fuck.
You're just that group now.
Yep. And one of them was eyeing Seymour because they were like an enemy religious faction or some crap like that.
It's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Seemed like the appropriate.
Very strong. It is God related, so yeah. That sounds about right.
Cool. But yeah,
And-
and then we went to go meet up with Drazimir.
Mhm.
Then we ended with having breakfast.
Grassmere
and-
shanking us.
Yeah,
well,
you,
that's coming.
you all chilled at one of these little studying book gardens whilst you had breakfast given to you by Drosimir, who could see that you had quite a difficult start to the day. But eventually you were granted access to the archives, and that is where we're going to start today's session. Is there anything anybody wants to talk about or bring up before we get stuck into it? Okay, in that case then, let us begin. So, as the group gathers inside the scriptorium, you have just over an hour before your exam in beginning Incomancy starts. Looking around the place, you can see that much like the rest of the biblioplex, the room has been kept in pristine condition. Books slot perfectly into every shelf, the varying width somehow accounted for so that no gaps are left, nor are any tomes crammed. And yet... Oh, I'm just trying to get some music going. I was trying to be subtle about it and I failed. And yet the shelves still seem to be organised by both their main field of study, subgenres and authors. Drosimir leads you forward. His light footsteps feel awkward for such a large creature, though this suits his personality all too well. And as he looks at you, he says to the rest of you, "Here we are then," he blunders. "This is the book Quintilius has been going on about. Some of the language in it is quite tricky, and the archivist, who can usually read any language, like, the text doesn't really seem to exist to them. I think if I could learn this for the talent show, then I'm sure to beat Quintilius." he says with a wry smile, and waits for you all to approach and holds out the book.
Sure.
Well-
You can beat Quintilius. You can get second. He'll get something, and I'll get first. Just so
Oh.
you're aware.
I like your spirit.
Winked at him.
Well,
A again.
Drasimir,
Oh yeah, go ahead.
A again, and I have something that may just make your day better.
Yeah.
And he prospering hands, or doesn't really hand, but like he shows him this piece of paper. This is what we think is a code for that book, a deciphering code for that book.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Deciphering code. Just a
Yeah.
question for you lot: are there walls in the way? Like, is your vision obscured at all, or can you see the entire
No,
map?
Nope.
We can see, the
we can
whole
see
map.
everything.
Let me fix that.
You don't
like
have to.
you're not supposed to see it.
There's light
Y'all
everywhere.
gotta stop
There's
telling
light
the
fucking
truth
everywhere.
to Benji. Hashtag lie to bonus. Get in the
Literally
comments.
a light every 10 feet.
Yeah, but there's bookshelves in the way. I want your immersion.
My immersion.
There you go.
Ew.
Can I perch on top of one of the bookshelves?
No, they're right up to the ceiling. There's no space.
Of course, suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
You've got a cipher.
Well, it's kind of what we think it is. Have you heard of anyone named Daisy in your readings?
I've heard of what? No.
No. Okay. Well, she's the one who wrote the text you're reading.
Oh.
And
Didn't Daisy have a nickname that we heard somewhere?
Yes.
a nickname?
It was like Prophet or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Yeah, she's some sort of Loxodon prophet.
Prophet Jufe. Jufa.
Yep, that one.
Oh yeah. Oh, I didn't know her name was Daisy. That's nice. I like daisies.
I do too. Yeah, actually, they're very nice. They're very sweet.
I sometimes
Um,
put them in my main.
I love that. But yeah, we're kind of concerned about, honestly, anyone reading this aloud, because we're not really sure what it might do.
Oh.
And I really, really, God, really don't want Quintilius to read it out loud. And just for your sake, because you seem like such a nice person, that I don't want anything bad to happen to you either. I mean, we don't know that anything bad would really happen, but it seems very cryptic in a series of multiple different languages, and she was apparently known to be sort of powerful, so we don't know what could come of it.
Well, should we study it here and see, or?
I mean, I'd like to. I'd like to know what it says. And
Oh.
but I'm gonna look for a book on a location really quick. Why don't Prospering? Do you want to see if you can decipher some of it with Drasimir?
Yeah, we can go over it. And what Prospering will do is that he will look at the code that he has and ask Drasimir for like a something to write with in paper so that he can like write down the words and everything that go with it, so that Drasimir also understands it. And then he will sit down with Drasimir and kind of start going over it.
Well, I'll tell you what. You note as you look at this book that, much like your exam coming up, your beginning incomancy, there is meaning and intent in the cipher that you can tell thanks to your studies, but that needs to be decoded through various means. And the text constantly seems to shift and change meaning, and you need to like work to unlock certain parts of it. Serendipitously, it's like you've been studying the right thing at the right time. But as such, you realize that it may require a few different tries from different people in order to unlock this. Maybe using different angles. Maybe, a challenge of skills, as it were.
Oh, wow.
To try and decipher this certain piece of text. So, as you look over it, one thing I will say is, Aegon, with that passive insight of yours, you know that you are bang on the money when you say that should Daisy was indeed powerful at the stage when she wrote this, and should the intent be misinterpreted, so therefore will the meaning of the text evoke that misinterpretation. So it is a dangerous text to study because of what could come out of it.
Boom, nailed it.
Indeed, yeah. So, sorry, 1 second. Okay. So that's with the book. So Aegon wants to go and look at a location or something first. Prosperine, what were you wanting to do first? Because we don't have to start the skill challenge just yet. You've got quite a bit of time, so what were you hoping to do? Is there anything else within this place that you might want to look? Again, this is like part of a restricted section of like books in the biblioplex, but it's certainly not all of the restricted books or anything. So there may be information here on some things, there may not be, but it's all up to you.
Oh yes, he would definitely be looking for any additional information that he was trying to before, when he was by the like magical beasts that would have like the anti-magic properties, as well as any sort of like weapon, armor, item, anything, substance, plants, whatever it may be, that would have this sort of like anti-magic resistance or just complete magic immunity.
So you're looking into the mage hunter specifically, or are you looking into some just anti-magic in general?
Anti-magic in general.
Okay. We'll come on to that in a second. Dravrax, Sven, and Seymour, anything with you all? By the way, did you all take a short rest?
I did.
Seymour and Prosperine are looking at you without max
I don't
health?
think I did.
Okay.
Roll your hit die.
Fix that.
Goodness.
And we get like an additional 5 or something, right?
Yeah.
Because
because I have 40 of 35 right now.
Yeah, because of aid. Just whilst we're talking about that, one thing I want to mention, because you talked about getting on top of bookcases, I recently ran a dungeon for the Spelljammer campaign I'm writing, and somebody decided to go on the roof of this dungeon, which of course I didn't expect. And I was like, fuck, how do I go about this? And then another player was like, oh, I want to cut bits off this dungeon because it's in space and you can just detach parts of it. I was like, oh my god, stop. I was like,
that's so good.
and it was just ways to like basically end an encounter just by like sending the entire portion off of the dungeon into space. I was just like, what the fuck? Player's gonna break things, I swear.
Amazing.
But it was very cool. And it's like why I realize I need to, obviously play test things and why I do. So yeah, that was just you standing on bookcases as like, I need an answer for this. This cannot stand.
You're like, nope, they're in the ceiling. You
They're in the
can't.
ceiling.
Sorry.
There's actually spikes on it all along the
Oh,
ceiling.
right. Just
Weirdly.
for birds
Yeah.
specifically. It's
Yeah.
little. It's interesting.
It's so rude.
All right, cannon, throw people on
Do any
spikes.
owlin go to
on
this
top.
school?
They're rubber spikes. It's just uncomfortable, but it's not actually dangerous.
Okay.
All right. Let's move. How many times are we gonna move these goalposts,
I
bench?
put a lot of thought into this, you know? They could just leave
yeah.
it.
It's definitely not out my ass. It's all really intentional planning. Okay, so what are Seymour, Droverex, and Sven up to?
I would like to look for books about the like the creation of Strixhaven, maybe like the ancient Loxodons.
Got you. Okay, those would be two slightly separate things, but yeah, you could choose one of those.
Didn't we hear about a Loxodon like myth?
Xantifar, the Lost City.
Xantifar. Thank you.
Yeah. Is that what you want to look up, Seymour?
That sounds like a perfect task. Yeah,
Okay.
I'd love to do that.
What I'll say.
I can't wait to hit another series of ancient ruins.
With
so
your group
whatever gets us
passive
closer to that.
perception, what I'll say with your group passive perception is this section of the library seems to be mainly focused on the history of the Loxodon and their writings. Now, whether that has any other like linked writings to what you look at is different, but the closer you are to that sort of subject, the more likely it is you're going to find something. But that doesn't mean like you won't be able to find anything. It just changes the DC of things. So like your mage hunter anti-magic stuff is going to be a little more difficult than finding out, about the city of Xantifar or about Loxodon history, or even the creation of Strixhaven as university. Like it is 2 degrees out from that, if that makes any sense. But it's still viable. It just like setting expectations. And Droverex, is there anything specific you're looking at?
Drerex is gonna look for any religious texts from the ancient Loxodons.
Interesting.
Specifically, if they touch on Eldoth or any of the other deities that he is aware of.
Okay. So, I'm going to want everyone to do checks that they feel is appropriate to their line of questioning. I feel like most of these would be religion, history, investigation. If it's not one of those three, you're going to have to explain to me like why you're wanting to use something different. But feel free to go ahead. The downside of like failing a roll will just be that the book isn't in this section and you need like to go to some other section or something to try and find it. And
Will there be books in here that are not in a language we would understand, like the title of it, as we're like looking through it?
Yeah, I'll say
if you roll poorly enough.
Yeah, I'll say if you cast comprehend languages, for example, which is what I think you're getting at, then you could definitely get like advantage on the roll or something, because that seems to be like a viable. Seems like a.
Okay. Yep. That's
good
definitely
spell
what
for
he's
this.
gonna do then.
Is comprehend languages a ritual?
It can be. Yes.
Go for it then.
All right.
I will say this, because this kind of eats into your time and stuff. Whilst you're looking for these things, you get advantage on the roll, but if you do it as a ritual, as an added downside, it means that if you fail the roll for what you're looking for, you will also have, quote, used your skill check in the first round. It won't be a pass or a fail, it just means you won't get to go in that first round of people going, so you won't be able to help others or stop a failure or like add or subtract it to yourself. So it just means that you'll miss the first round if you fail this roll by using comprehend languages as a ritual. So you can use it as a ritual, but it just eats into your time, because remember you've got that exam coming up. So do you still want to do it as a ritual, or do you want to do it as a spell slot?
I'll do it as a spell slot.
Okay. And thankfully you don't combust into flames immediately, so that's always nice.
Uh-huh. Yep, definitely.
So, who's going first? Oh, fuck right off. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
We'll start off with Seymour. So, Seymour, you were looking into what specifically again? Sorry, Xanthafar, was it, or was there something
Yeah, the
else?
city of Xanthafar. If there's been
Okay.
any like if what the bait would like, what are what are other cities mentioned in that tale?
Mhm.
That we could learn about. Like, is there any like truth in those cities? And pretty much he's kind of starting a bit from square one, but like I mean him and Drevorex have spent a semester together, so
Got
and they
you.
went into the Loxodon like ruins, and me and I think Prosperine were the ones who spent like a good amount of our downtime over last semester studying for that, like the preparation for that dungeon dive. So uh
Yes. So,
I don't know.
Xanthafar.
It feels like yeah.
So with Xanthafar, with that 13, what you find out, there's like limited information on Xanthafar, just because not because like it's the wrong section of the library or anything like that. It's
That
just that
13
it's
is a hit
limited.
die.
Oh, do you want to go ahead and roll then for history? I guess.
Absolutely.
And I'll come to Prosper in a second. Then sorry,
And
I thought the 13
I'd love
was.
I'm so sorry about that.
It's all good. It's my mistake.
But like
Have you added the
I should
13
have rolled.
hit points to your health? Might be a good start.
I had, but it disappeared. Oops. Well, that didn't work out very well.
The roll didn't appear on my screen. I saw A4, but then it disappeared and hasn't appeared in chat. So go ahead and roll again.
Okay.
I've set that precedent before. I'm setting it again now. So even if you crit and I don't see it.
That hurts.
Mm-hmm. So prospering that crit that you got, I didn't see it. Oh my god, weird. Like you have to roll again. So with an 18, you and genuinely it hasn't appeared on my screen, by the way, the 4. I'm gonna send a screenshot just so there's all tea, no shade. Okay. With an 18, there isn't much information on Xanthafar as a whole just because of its nature, but with the 18 instead of the 13, what you do begin to see is that there is a book written about the legend of Xanthafar, and it turns out that Strixhaven Lawhold kind of campus is built near to where they think the lost city of Xanthafar is in that region. Xanthafar was said to be made at the height of Loxodon civilization, and by the way, the new music is banging. And it is said that Xanthafar was seen as the pinnacle of any humanoid race that had gone at that time, which unfortunately put them in direct conflict with the dragons early on, and this was potentially the precursor for the downfall. It would be at some point Xanthafar, they believe, sank beneath the sands for reasons unknown. And the Loxodon became a nomadic people because their center of civilization had been basically wiped off the face of the earth. With an 18, you can answer one, like you can ask one follow-up question, and I can see if I can answer it if you like.
Interesting.
Is there anything from that information that you'd like expanded on?
Yes. Sorry, I'm just sitting with it for a second.
That's good.
I think it would be good to know more specifically what people have done with those, others have done so far before me attempting to locate this place.
Okay.
Either failed expeditions or things like that.
There
That
is
would be a history of failed expeditions would probably be good.
in this book, it actually has exactly that. It says that there have been many searches for the place, and even some people have chosen, when they join Lorehold, there is a spirit summoning. Lots of people, when you join a college, you get a mascot, and each different college has their own version of like getting a mascot. And with the with Lorehold, it's spirit summoning and summoning the spirits of historical figures into the statue that represents them. And some folk have tried to try to bring back figures of potentially Xanthar's past and Loxodon culture. But many of the statues, obviously, that were of historical figures that would have known about Xanthar have been lost to time, because most of those statues would have been in Xanthar, right? Like you represent the historical figures of the place that they are important to, and so there is a distinct lack actually for how much this place was important to Loxodon culture in the past. There is a distinct lack. There is, however, rumors of an expedition recently. You find some kind of like notes in the same section, different book, that talk of a student in 4th year having in their 2nd year found rumors of where Xanthar might be, and it seems that this student went in search of Xanthar, and their teachers were concerned because they vanished, and that was just before you arrived here, so it would be their 5th year now, and they never seemed to return after taking their spirit guide into the desert. All sort of magical and mundane means have been used to try and find this person, and they are Loxodon themselves, but all seem to come to no means, which hints at the fact that it kind of has an addendum at the bottom. It's likely that they found themselves on another plane of existence, if that is the case. It's quite difficult to reach creatures when they are on another plane, and there's evidently some of the magical
Seymour knows
interference or
that's
something.
super true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Okay.
That's your answers.
Great to know.
Prosperine, with your investigation into, I think investigation was the right skill, because it's all about finding the texts about these mage hunter things. There is fucking hell, how do I go about this with a 25? You can answer 2 follow-up questions to this. One because it's a crit, and the other because it's 5 higher. The DC for yours was 20. So good job.
Whoa.
You find that there has been studies into mage hunters, and it is specific that they are not from this. They are not from Arcavios. In fact, the very nature of them being on Arcavios, they have been studied to have the ability to not only absorb and reflect magic, but also warp it around them. It seems like they are almost the anathema to magic. They are in fact anti-magic, and this is what the book sort of begins to look into. If they're not from Arcavios, where are they from? It says that they have only recently come into being, and it seems that whenever they are around, it almost always seems to be linked with Arik investigations or encounters. But yeah, what 2 questions do you have?
First question is, does it seem like they are not necessarily, I guess, yeah, are they resistant to all types of magic? Or has there been cases of where it seems like certain types of magic have more of a effect than others?
Okay. So what I will say is that there's less information on this because no mage hunter has been like captured and stuff.
Gotcha.
It seems that they have the ability to shift forms, and depending on what sort of form they're in, kind of denotes how they act. There is what is known as a hunter and what is known as a sentry form. The hunter form is what they usually fight with, but when they've been observed sort of passively, which is literally once, there's one recorded encounter of them being like seen before they sort of get their enemy kind of thing. They kind of go from like a bee-like form into a spider-like form. The bee-like form is the sentry form, and it's noted in there that quickly they were able to find out like the person hiding almost instantaneously, and that is like what's noted in there. It seems that even invisibility doesn't help too much in those scenarios. In terms of your question about it being resistant to all magic, it is said that it is less like a resistance, and it is more like a threshold. And if magic is used in quick succession on them, that threshold gets to be broken, but it quickly regenerates too. So a theory is to use magic in quick succession against them, if at all, or just stick to more mundane means. But if you use some magic, then they are able to seemingly absorb and reflect it. But if you use multiple versions of magic, or even just like successively the same spell in quick succession, we're talking like in a matter of seconds, then it seems to be somewhat effective.
Gotcha.
And your second question?
Second question. What happens to them when they are defeated?
So far, the only times that they've been defeated was when there have been like Dragon's Guard involved, and there's very much little written about this. It seems that the Arik use the chitin, I don't know which one it is. Chitin of the creature as a form of armor or material. It is theorized that that's what makes their masks, and so it is thought that either that skin or chitin is shed and used, or indeed when they are defeated, the Arik take these and run. They do die like any other creature, though. It seems there is one instance of a Dragon's Guard being able to slay one of these things, but they are very tough creatures to fight, and usually are never alone. Like when there's, it specifically said when there's one, there's always more.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okie doke.
Perfect.
Sven, let's have. What are you looking for?
I am looking for
Just a reminder to everyone that you've got advantage. No, not advantage. A D4 in animal handling, nature, or survival. If any of those help during these.
Websites. Does Sven look at inappropriate websites during his library time? He plays video games on the school
what kind
computers.
of bandwidth are we talking about here?
And what's the bandwidth in the library?
We've got a lot of things to look up.
There's dial-up in Strixhaven? What?
So I would like to know what
The suspense is killing me.
I would like to know what sort of magical creatures or magical interaction with creatures the Loxodon may have had in Xanthafar.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, you can roll me an appropriate check for that. That could be
Okay,
nature. That could be arcana.
Yeah, I would like it to be nature.
Okay, remember you do have a D4 on this if you wanted to use that.
I am going to use it.
Okay.
Never mind.
Yeah, unfortunately, the
Is it a curse?
specific looks into things. You know that you can find this information. It's just in a different part of the library. But it does seem to be in a part of the library that isn't necessarily restricted. So it's something you can look into later. So it'll just take just a different time, unfortunately. But you're not one out of the way for the rest of the session. You're going to be balling for the rest of the session.
Yeah, right.
So many successful rolls. Oh,
Because, yeah, right.
jeez. I don't know why this is like. I keep on telling myself it's not real. It's not actually a curse. And then,
I'm genuinely sad.
like, yeah,
for
this
you.
fucking sucks.
Surprising reception.
Might have to make a new character eventually, honestly.
Why'd you get rid of
See if it
guidance?
breaks the curse. Drovrax, what are you looking at?
Religious texts, what deity or deities, what was the main deity of the ancient Loxodon peoples?
Okay, yep. So
Who
that
were they
sounds,
about?
That sounds like a hardcore religion check to me.
Okay.
I bet he's really bad at that, right, Eric?
I mean, he's not like, doesn't have super high intelligence, but I'm proficient in it. So it'll only get better. I hate my life.
I mean, a 10 for the religion of Loxodon in a section about Loxodon. That is exactly what you needed. So
Okay,
you won't be able to
great.
get any follow up to this. So I don't need to work
That's
that hard. But you. Let's have a look here. Let's look at some juicy stuff.
Juicy.
So there is something really interesting about deities and religion in Arcavios. I'm going to call it like enlightenment, which is gross in its own way, but like, forgive me. Pre-enlightenment, when Strixhaven became a thing, that's what the age of enlightenment is called in this. It is said that so you know the magic of Eldoth works here, even though technically you're from a different plane.
Yeah,
which
but
is
so
weird.
is she. So,
Huh?
but so is Eldoth.
Right, which is the point. So the fact that Eldoth is like multiplanar is really interesting, and it seems to work. But it seems that whilst the Loxodon revered past heroes and stuff of their people, it looks as if they did not have the ability to commune with any gods or anything. It's almost as if before Enlightenment, before people from different planes started coming to Arcavios, there was a separation entirely of Arcavios from all the different planes. It seems to be like an intentional thing that the dragons almost did to connect Arcavios to the other planes. So what was once an island became, a peninsula, as it were. One thing you'll note is that there are some names of people revered in Loxodon mythos and legend. And you get a couple of names. You get tell you what, I'll give you a few names. Roll me a d6 twice. Yeah, roll me 2d6. We'll choose these names at random.
Oh, not 3. 2.
Okay.
Hey.
So you find out about Captain Ronyo Yersel and Spellweaver Drikov Barum. These two seem to have
Can you
more
type this out for me somewhere?
Yeah.
Thank you.
These two seem to have information about them in the main part of the library. But they're just like listed here as examples. And so this is something you can look up and study more about later.
Okay.
Okay, doke. And last but certainly not least, Aegon.
I'm finding anything on Morigitsu Kesh.
Okay.
Wow.
I swear to God, you will come up with the like before I even mention the skill challenge. You're like, okay, I'm gonna go for this thing, and then you're like, that one thing that mentioned last session, stab. Let's go for it.
I guess I'm gonna roll investigation for this because that's
Okay, I will
'cause I
say
can't-
this is gonna be super hard, so
No!
just keep that in mind.
Oh no! Oh my goodness, do I do it? Okay, yeah, I'm gonna use my inspiration on this.
Ooh!
Ooh.
Yeah,
Okay, go for it.
Okay.
Man, it's
Okay.
not horrible, but it's probably not the DC I needed.
The DC was 20. So
Yeah, that's what I thought.
what I'll say for Morigitsu Kesh is there is almost no mention of it here, even though you have a piece of information on it already, the fact it exists. There is one mention you find though, just before you realize you really need to start like looking into whatever this book that Drozimir has, and you find that there is in the history of the Founder Dragons, it is mentioned that Arcavios is known to be a merging of two planes of existence rather than one. And Muragitsu Kesh is said to be at the center of where both those planes met, and is the name of a place in Dragon's Tongue, and that a place that's important to the dragons. But that is kind of all you know from like reading this. It's like briefly mentioned. It says that if you want to find out more about it, you need to get one of the highest levels of access in like a different section of the library. This is quite restrictive knowledge about this Muragitsu Kesh thing. Roll me a D100. Okay. As you're putting it away, by most of these tomes, there is sort of things that they mention. They have like files next to them of like recent reports or something that may like have additional information about those kinds of things. And one thing you pick up on is there is mention of a figure who used to be at the university called Extus Nar, and it seemed that during their time here as a professor, they had started looking into Muragitsu Kesh.
Interesting. Okay. I'll take it.
Okay. So, as Drasimir kind of like has, I'm going to say Drasimir was, sort of assisting and pointing out like where different sections might be for all of you lot. Drasimir pipes up and says, not to press any of you, I just wondered, are we still looking into this book, or did you want, you can obviously pursue your own things if you want. I just wondered if you were hoping to look into this and decipher it, or would you like to continue on with your own studies? I don't mind. I understand if so. It's quite an exciting opportunity to look into the more restricted areas of the Biblioplex.
I mean, I think I have what I need for right now, at least. And I told you I was going to help you win. And like he turns to Draverax and he just like mouths to him sorry. And he sits down next to Drasimir and I guess tries to begin deciphering this book.
Okay. I will actually give this as an option then, yeah. You can either choose to pursue another set of information and remove yourself from the skill challenge completely, or so you won't be able to like help with any of the failures or successes or anything like that, or you can choose to take part in the skill challenge. Obviously with less people involved, like failure does just become more likely because you can't help or counter any failures or anything like that. So it is up to you what you will choose. But is anyone not taking part in the skill challenge then?
If you're translating that, you should get a hold of Mina. She studies language specifically.
The skill challenge is to help Drasimir or no?
Yes,
Sorry.
skill challenge is to help Drasimir
Help Drasimir.
translate this cipher,
You're
which
right.
seems to be based on intent and is about Lily, or aka Prophet Juf.
Interesting. So help a competitor. That's what I'm being asked to do.
Help a competitor, yeah, and find out information about a historical figure you've already met? Question mark. Or yeah, or sabotage them by not helping and get more information about something else you want.
Aegon is torn, but knows that if they help Drasimir, they might get access to more information, so they're gonna choose to help Drasimir.
I mean, I will say there's also obviously relationship points tied to this whole thing as well, including negative ones.
Rude.
Drasimir never forgets.
Neither does Draverex.
Oh!
Got a long memory.
I'm kind of here for the rivalry between you and Drasimir. I support you not taking part in the skill challenge.
It's fun though. I love a skill challenge, but also,
I mean, shouldn't Loxodon stick together instead of tearing each other down?
I mean,
not
Drazimir's a
like that.
Minotaur, but you know.
how
Oh.
very incorrect of you.
Wow, just
Then.
assuming all beast races are the same. Yikes.
I think you're gonna need
I think that's
to-
from Elder Scrolls, actually.
I
Beast
think you need to
races.
schedule an update, Sven.
Yikes. Wow.
Okay, Queens, I need to know. Is anyone not in the skill challenge?
I don't think Draverex joins.
Oh my! Take a negative relationship point with Drasimir. I live for that.
Green light on the skill check.
Nice. Okay, so I'm going to assume everyone but Figo is not in that. I'm going to say we're going to take a quick break now. So come back at 35 minutes past.
Sounds good.
And yeah, we'll take a break, then we'll get into the skill challenge or not, and find out what we find out. Or not.
Cool.
Be right back.
Forgive me, friends.
I mean, ultimately, isn't Sven participating in the skill challenge exactly what Dravorax would want?
Why?
Because of my roles.
If you put it that way, but see, if I want y'all to fail, you'll succeed. So I'll just let the dice take their path.
Oh yeah, because then it's just sitting there for everyone to take their turns.
Hello.
Like,
Makes sense.
if we take this high level, like high level, and there's a third ASI, like level 12 or whatever, I might take the alert feat. But like until then, I just want 20 wisdom.
I think most folk took feats, right? And is it just you that took the ASI?
Maybe.
No, I took the ASI.
Mm.
I also for now have the ASI, but I considered Mage Slayer.
Yes, you did.
Nice. If there are ever a campaign for it.
Yeah, right. I'm like, I might just switch that later. If you're
I
cool
had
with it,
also
bench.
considered Mage Slayer.
Hmm.
All right, if you do it, I'll do it.
So many reactions.
Okay.
I mean, I get to use a sword already, and that's like part of my build. So giving myself reaction against a spellcaster with a sword, it's very nice.
Imagine
I
that
took
with
Silvery
Warcaster
Barbs,
as well.
which is kind of
Bro,
something.
it's so good.
Oh,
So
you
good.
also have silvery barbs?
Well,
Wait,
I took
That's 3
Fae.
of us, dude.
Yeah.
4.
Oh my god.
It's too good.
Oopsie.
Hey, Benj, are you ready
like
to
how
have
no one mentioned
disadvantage
it
on
until
saving
now.
throws?
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Great.
I don't need to roll well. I have Silvery Barbs. I'll make you roll as bad as I do.
Everyone popped off on that thing, and I guess it's about to come home whether I hate that spell or not. We'll see. But so far, I've just been like, that's fine. I'd much rather the players succeed anyway and tell a cool story from it. Like if you can use your reaction and a spell slot and feel powerful about it to have a cool story moment, then to like stop a crit, fuck yeah, that's amazing.
Well, the whole reason I did it as my free spell so that I just get it the once a day.
Makes sense.
Because I was like, oh, I can pick a wizard spell as far as they go. Clerics don't get reactions, so I was like, absolutely, that's
Yeah.
yeah.
Wait, what'd you take? Oh, sorry.
And I mean, you know me, I play Thistle, so I'm all about rerolls.
Yes, you are.
It's kind of wild actually playing next to Benji. Everyone in that game, it's like it's just the whole thing is basically I just hear Benji go, "Ooh, I didn't like that one."
I'm just
I hear
gonna
this.
reroll.
I get the sound of a digital die again. I'm like, does he just get to choose when that happens, or?
Yeah.
And in fact, he does, because not only does he reroll once, he can reroll anytime he'd like, 3 times, because lucky.
Thistle has 5 different sources of rerolling, either other people's rolls or her own. It's pretty exciting. When I make a character concept, I don't fuck about. One day maybe you'll meet Perlin, who is
Couldn't reroll getting eaten by that tree though, could you?
Ooh, thanks.
That was that nat 1 into a 2.
She was level
Real
1 back
quick.
then. It doesn't count. Okay, so we are here and ready to do the skill challenge, but I'm gonna have Dreverex go after the first round, so we'll like have everyone else do the skill challenge whilst Dreverex is off hating Drasimir and cursing him.
I don't
so,
hate him. Come on.
too late now. Too late. Did you take the -1?
I did. Yeah.
Nice. Love that.
Yes.
So, as you look at the text in front of you, you see the book, and ooh, what music do I want for this? I mean, this is nice, this song, but I think
It is nice.
I think it should represent impending doom.
I like
Okay.
that.
let's go for it then.
Oh,
You
thank
have a
you
look
for
at the
using golden girls to try to attack me. I appreciate
Sure.
that.
you have a look at the text in front of you, and okay, this is way too scary. This is too much. What's this one? Ooh. Okay. I can vibe with this. So,
The
Looking at-
void.
casual. You look at the text in front of you, and the ink on the page. You understand the words like literally, with a combination of like primordial or loxodon, but much like the word written, BOW can mean like 3 different things, or much like, you know, weapon and tool can sort of interchange in translation. There is the same sort of shifting back and forth in this text where as an individual word you understand it, but when you read it as a whole it doesn't seem to, it either makes no sense or changes its meaning the second read through. And trying to pin down the intent behind these words is where the skill challenge comes in. So using your beginning incomancy lessons, you begin to try and decipher this strange text in front of you. Who is going first, and how are you going about deciphering it? I'm open to anything here. It could be having spoken to Lily in the past, maybe you use something you knew about them, having researched something, maybe it's the history of the Loxodon that helps you. Maybe you hang upside down and read the text and that helps. I don't know. But yeah. You tell me what y'all are doing.
I would say that Aegon would probably use like their past interaction with Daisy / this prophet.
Do I keep on saying Lily? I mean Daisy.
Yeah, okay. I was like, I don't know if that's
Who's Lily?
their actual. I don't know.
Okay, definitely.
Is it
mean
important?
Daisy.
Harry
Should I write
Potter.
it down?
No.
Should I ask about it later?
Maybe. Shit.
So I kind of want to work that into an insight just based on like
Yeah.
remembering her mannerisms and things like that, and kind of interpreting what her intention would be through that.
Yeah, go for it. That sounds like a great check. With each success, you will get. With each success, you will get. Hold on. No. You will get some more information. What was your?
Do I get a D4 for insight somewhere? Is that a thing?
Yeah, I was about to
No?
say your extracurriculars might have it.
I don't think mine does, but I'll check. No. Nature or survival.
Gross.
Boo.
Imagine being bad at something once. Weird.
Wow.
I took the crusher feat and my rolls are crap now, so I'm convinced that something
Nice.
happened.
Yeah, I had a word with the dice because I was like, you cannot let A and crit anymore.
Yeah, you can't. Yep, nope,
Please.
that's it. That was the end.
Can't have constant advantage on all attacks. So as you look into this, one thing becomes apparent. Daisy grew up into Prophet Juth and still liked riddles and jokes, but with the magic behind these, they become more serious. And as you'll see, again looking at the text, you begin to notice that Aegon seems to be like focused on the book, but you begin to notice that a bead of ink begins to roll up Aegon's I don't know what they're called, finger feathers?
Well, talons, I guess.
Yeah, do you have like
Yeah, I have
four?
talons.
Do you have like 2 arms and 2 wings, or are your arms your wings?
Yeah, I think I have 2 arms, 2 wings. I think
Okay.
that's how it
What?
works.
So you're a dragon
Yeah.
now.
You have true hands. Oh, okay.
So as
Gotcha.
you like, your talons are resting, a bead like an ink stain begins to
Good
move
gift.
up the
I don't like any of that.
rear claw. Is anyone going to try and stop the failure, or are you going to use your action for something else?
Wow. Okay.
I would like to attempt to stop the failure.
Okay, how are you going
Oh
to go
god,
about doing
please
that?
just let me die.
This is a gif of your father
So far, all you see
playing,
is just
playing
this,
music on the farm.
like an ink and water sort of, you know, where it like blots, like kind of spreads out. It's doing that over Aegon's talon.
And am I addressing that or the original concept?
Either or, like if you think,
Okay.
yeah, whatever you think is going to avert the failure.
Then I would like to, if I may, use a nature check to figure out like what is going on with the ink thing.
Yeah, sure, go for it.
And I believe I can add a D4 to that.
Yeah, you can. Perfect. I should say the DC for the skill challenge is 14, so solid use of the D4. This one's a tougher one. As the ink stain kind of goes up, you realize that part of the trick to this text is that if somebody tries to focus on the meaning and isn't getting it, part of like the trap of the text, if that makes any sense, is that it starts to take on aspects of them and kind of like lead them further into the text and like use their thoughts and emotions to block them from reading. You realize like it's a trap, it's a magically enchanted trick, and this is part of the beginning incomancy. You know that this is something you've read about in one of your studies, and it's a special kind of ink that reacts to that is able to do this, and that's what you're able to decipher. In order to stop this happening, there needs to be like a break in the connection that they're having with it.
I will inform everyone. Based on some studies that we've been doing with inkomancy, I think this may be some sort of trapped ink.
And as Sven says this, you realize that your own talent has been like, you've got like a stain of ink kind of deep into your claw for the moment. And the text already started to talk about strange things that you don't really understand. Spoke of the past and how something to do with lost children and Daisy being lost in a forest or something.
Aegon like shakes it off and stops looking at the text.
Okay. After a while, the ink seems to fade and you're back to being fine. Okay, so you averted the failure with that. So there's no successes, no failure so far. But at the end of round, that's halfway through round one because we have 2 people. So Prosperine and Seymour, you are next. What are you doing to try and decipher this book?
Prosperine is going to I'm going to use our Arcana for this to more carefully, or I guess to understand the magic of this book better so that we can more carefully navigate its effects.
Okay, makes sense. Go for it. DC 14, please.
Okay.
Nice. 2 things become apparent to you. One is that you realize, as you said, the kind of trick behind this is that any translations you make sort of begin to manifest themselves by taking on parts of the people reading it. It directly uses your own interpretation of the text against you and will form it will use the magic against you unless you translate this and decipher it in a timely manner. You know that you can stop translating at any time, but it doesn't forget who you are, and it will, if you try to resume afterwards, after stopping, for example, you wouldn't it wouldn't reset or anything. For those people, it will always sort of have that level. It's a very intricate magical trap that this is done. It may explain as well, for example, why when trying to translate it and perform with it, for example, all of a sudden the furniture came alive for Quintilius. The other thing to say is that as you look over this, you do unlock part of it, and you read that Daisy became known as Prophet Juve because quite early on, her games and her ideas, like the window you saw that she, told you was a secret doorway, ended up being prophecies, and she eventually helped guide the Loxodon to greatness with her visions, and was instrumental in their rise in culture and civilization. And so you kind of get this idea of it starts off, the text of this starts off by describing the first acts of Daisy's and how she became to be known as Prophet Juve in the first place. Okay. Who's next?
I think that leaves me.
Okay, go for it.
Seymour would like to continue to study as he's been with Prospering. He'd like to probably focus more on connecting the dots of what everyone else has collected.
Okay.
So piecing apart together the investigation. If I can make an investigation.
Okay, yeah, go for it. DC
So more so
14.
connecting the dots. I won't use advantage. I should have used advantage. Damn it! I knew it. I said it literally out loud. I can't believe I literally decided not to. I cannot
You
believe
got a
it.
D4 in investigation?
It's not investigation, is it?
You have to check
Depends on
your
your
sheet.
extracurricular.
It's Silk Bulb. It's not gonna be
Yeah.
investigation, my guy.
Well, what else do you do? Let's have a look. See my worksheet.
Actually, I think my worksheet's probably off right now.
Intramural skill ball and water dancing, which is
Yeah.
athletics and performance. So no. As you try and connect the dots together, quickly you begin to read of how there was a religious sort of persecution against her. There were followers of the dragons that tried to sort her out, and things start to you try and connect the dots with things, but it all of a sudden feels strange and off. It talks about how she was called Necromancer, and quickly you realize that your own hand has been stained in the black ink of the page. And at the end of round 1, we have 1 success and 1 failure.
Okay.
So
You stain my clothes or just my hand?
just your thumb at the moment.
Thumb. Okay.
Okay. So with that, I will go back to Drovrax. Whilst the group is looking into this, and you see them all kind of, I'm actually gonna put us all, it'd be cute, and use this. I'm gonna use these.
Yay!
Drovrax, you are looking around. What are you looking for whilst you're here?
more on these Loxodon ancient heroes.
Okay. Anyone in particular, or both, or changes the DC? So let me know.
I see. Well, we're gonna have to start with Spellweaver Dracov Barum.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a history check then, please. DC for this will be 10.
Jeez. Nice.
Nice, okay. So you will note that Drick of Barom was a master of elemental magic and taught the Loxodon mages to wield the elements against their enemies. Huge storms would often be created with his techniques, and as such, Drickov had a set of robes that protected against lightning. And this was important because the Spellweaver actually ended up falling in a duel against Tanazir Quandrix, in the hopes that he would be able to convince the dragon to leave his school of mages alone so that they could learn to wield magic in a controlled and safe environment. But it was dictated by Tanazir Quandrix that by the very act itself, and the fact that Drick of Barom needed to seek protection from his own magic, he could not wield it. The dragon wagered that if he could control the true elemental power of a storm, especially one created by a dragon, then he would allow the School of Mages to exist. But apparently it was too much, and Spellweaver Drick of Barum met their fate.
Wow. Well, I know what school I don't want to join.
So,
Probably none of them, because this place is has institutional bigotry.
I know it's weird. Imagine like 700 years ago, like if our countries, my country was like, horrible and had all these dark things to it, and like, the leaders of it were like assholes. Strange. Tyrants in history, can't relate.
Can't relate.
So, next, then we have round 2. Who's going first this time?
Love to try again.
Okay. So you try and shake off the ink that from your thumb, and it seems to stick to you. The words permanently seem to change and shift based on those things, and the text unfortunately feels too familiar, and almost part of it seems now to be locked behind what you've read about this sort of cult of necromancy, which just doesn't seem to fit with the rest of the things that you know so far about Daisy.
I'd love to investigate the necromancy cult, whether it's a false claim or not. I'd love to investigate that.
You get the impression that it's part of the trap. It's reading from you and your past.
Oh, I'm sorry, I got you.
Yeah.
But that's I kind of like trying to like shake it off, and I like show Eogan because you're sitting right next to me. And I guess Sven and Prosperine, you guys see as well, like what's going on with Seymour. This is very distracting, I have to be honest. This is not helping with my investigations.
Yeah, you realize that part of it is like it brings up, old memories and things that you kind of either don't think about or usually want to forget, and kind of like tries to distract you with them to obfuscate.
That's that one.
One of them.
Yes.
The true meaning behind things.
Um,
Also,
even
you
though
can't use
they
the same
were,
skill twice in a row.
I was about to say, I don't think I could. What was the other special hero, Eric? What was that name?
What was the other hero? Captain Ranyo Yursel?
Yeah.
Do you want some time to think?
Yeah, if I could,
That's
that'd
so
be
good.
good. It's like that, or
I can make us roll for initiative if we wish, but I prefer it in freeform.
So I would like to. So since it seems that the book is responding to each of us, then perhaps a way of overcoming it would be for us to investigate what each other are being told by the trap. So what I would like to do is I will investigate the like necromancy cult part to try to figure out like what the book is hiding from Seymour. And I will use
Interesting.
a history check for it.
that's cool. Hope you.
Okay, yeah, you can do that.
Well,
Nice. That's it. It's
Nice.
DC 14.
it's 14. Okay.
Yeah.
Dig.
Sven succeeds.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
you realize that there is a. The part is trying to talk about. It's not actually like a cult that rose against her or something against her way of magic. You realize that apparently after she left Xantifar, Juf had been gifted with the power of her voice and prophecy. But due to her smaller physique, it meant that the often thunderous nature of her magic backfired. And so she needed a special piece of armor crafted in order to protect her from her own magical mishaps from occurring. And often this was seen as it is noted that this was used as proof from her critics that she was not what she said she was, and she was messing with forces that she shouldn't otherwise be touching. Apparently that's key to understanding who she was as a person and the meaning behind this passage. As you do this, you begin to see that the words themselves seem to almost become more and more destabilized. You get the impression that the meaning of this, with so many people looking at it, with so many experiences sort of feeding into the trap, there is a limited amount of time before this thing goes awry. The longer you spend on it, the worse the results of this going south are going to get. Who's next?
I have a quick question.
Disconnect.
Does this magic have anything to do? I guess maybe this is like a check that I need to make, but is this magic have anything to do with like mind reading?
That would indeed be a check if you were to do that.
Because if it does,
Mm-hmm.
then I have protection against it.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh,
Ooh.
my Arcana is so bad.
Well, is that effect automatic, or do you have to do something to activate it?
It's automatic.
Mhm.
Then you shouldn't really need to check for it because it would
Right.
just happen.
So that's why I'm not sure how this is
But
playing out.
But the effect is happening to you.
Mm-hmm.
Fair, yeah, okay. Ugh.
The reasons why though might be interesting, but it's up to you.
Oh my.
What you look into.
Yeah, I'm not gonna risk that Arcana check because it's so bad.
That's very much a. Suddenly, Aogen feels a draft blowing from what's inside
No,
the
I'm
wall.
just saying.
Where's the draft?
I'm just saying it wasn't a bad line of questioning. I'm trying to encourage
Right.
players to
Come down this
feel-
rabbit hole. It's very
To
fun.
fall
Come
into your
here.
traps.
No,
Oh, silly.
I would never.
Okay. Prospering, do you have anything top of mind?
Oh goodness.
This map is so cozy. Such a good space for a scary book reading.
Yeah,
Such
yeah.
a
it's-
good map. I wonder who made it.
Ah, stop. Me. Tell me.
So Prospering understands what's going on here, like with like all the ink and everything, and from what he can tell, like this is just going to like continue to happen to people who fail it. Correct?
It kind of seems to be like if new people were to read it, then maybe it'd be different. But for you, like if you it's not going to be like it resets. There are layers. It's like taking for what in some way, shape, or form, it's taking parts of yourself and putting them into the text. Is what you're realizing so far.
Well, Prospering has this crazy idea of attempting to brute force this book.
Okay.
Where he is just his thinking is if he is the only one reading it, we can limit the effects to just himself and more easily deal with any risk that may be involved. And he says this to the rest of the group as well.
So what are you thinking with that? What do we do with that? Do we like turn our minds off of it? What are you thinking would work with that?
I mean, I think I should be the only one to look at it and read it, and yeah, I mean, if we want to continue, that is, we could also just deem it too dangerous. But I think the least amount of people reading this and looking at this book, the better it is. And I mean, I would say either myself or maybe Sven could do it, unless Seymour has some knowledge that of, maybe something in his own studies that may assist with this. But I think just one person should be reading this.
So okay, so maybe if you're the only one reading it, then we could look in like cross-reference with some of the other resources that are around here, and like what Ven did with Seymour and checked in on what the necromancy part meant.
I definitely think that would help, because from what we can tell, the book is influenced by our own thinking. So if we have one person thinking about what essentially want this to be and get out of it while everybody else is cross-checking. As you said, we might be able to keep it more narrowly focused on what we need to get from this book and what it actually holds.
Okay, sure.
Do you want to back up this theory with a roll, or are you just going to go for it?
I mean, that's Prosperine's like, that's his thinking on this. If anybody is going to then question him or be resistant against that idea, then I might roll for it. But as it stands right now, Prosperine's thinking really is that one is better while everybody else is the support at this point.
What does Sven and Seymour think to this?
That seems reasonable to me.
Yes, don't let me slow you down.
So you said that you might want Sven also to be involved. Perhaps Sven will be here to like assist with like potential failures by like pointing out where it might be trapping Prosperine. Is that the thinking here?
I think that would be good. And then as Prosperine gains the information, whatever that's going to be that he gains, with Drasimir knowing this library so well, we can use him to help cross-reference a lot of this information with everybody else. Kind of, hopefully he will be the person who navigates where information may be, and everybody else can find said information and bring it back as proof or denial of what Prosperine says.
Okay, let's do it. Why don't you see what you can suss out?
All right.
So you used Arcana before, so what is a
I did,
different
yes.
skill that you can use?
This time Prosperine is going to dive deeper into the history part. Especially on, just because he oh no, never mind, sorry, that's way after. But on kind of, well, no, not on the history part, because he doesn't actually gain or have that much information on the history of the Loxodon, as apparently many people don't. Let's go with investigation then, into just kind of further.
Yeah, makes sense. It seems like Seymour is giving you the help action, and Aegon's standing
Yeah.
by. Well, Aegon and Seymour are standing by to like avert failure or something.
Yeah, I mean, I was basically gonna make an Arcana check
Oh,
to do
well,
something similar, so
yeah,
that
we've just
feels
had,
appropriate.
we've just had Sven go, so Sven like can be helping in thing, but I guess one of you is taking the help action, and one of you is going to try and avert failure if that comes up. Is that right, Seymour, Aegon?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay, cool. So get advantage on this, Prosperine. Who's giving the help action for this out of Seymour, Aegon? And who wants to
I'll do
potentially
it.
avert failure? Okay.
I will. Oh my
Nice.
god!
Nice.
Crit.
That's 2 today.
That is 2. So you need one more success after this.
A hat trick.
You realize that 2 things. First off, your theory is nearly correct. You working on it will kind of stop the text being so erratic, but it's already captured parts of everyone that have being involved in this.
Mhm.
If you are doing this yourself, you realize it will take longer. The text is still going to get this text is still reacting to however long you're taking, but it does mean that you are going to be obviously able to get like advantage on rolls and stuff, and it's only going to be drawing from you, but it does mean that the backlash to you specifically will be greater than if it was shared by multiple people. In mechanical terms, it means if you're going to go about this, yes, you're going to get rolls with advantage, you know, from people helping, and other people can avert the failure, but it's going to live or die based on your rolls, and it's going to take you more rounds. If effectively, and so only Aegon is left now to really make a change to this. Regardless of whether you succeed or fail, some negative effect is going to come of this. You already feel the fingers like sort of closing around your mind. Some negative effect of this at the end of round 3 is going to happen. So unless you complete it in the next roll that Aegon has, then there is going to be some downside to this. It will take part of you with it.
Bring it on. Let's do it.
The other thing
So-
you realize though is so go on, ask the question.
No, go ahead. You're
The other thing you realize as part of this though is there is some more information, and specifically it relates to what I was telling before about the magical backlash. It seems that Juf or Daisy went to Shadrick Silverquill to have the dragon end his assault on Xantifer. Apparently he kept on sending prophets and doomsayers to the city talking of Xantifar's fate, and Daisy knew that these were falsehoods. But it was at this point that in a reversal of things, the dragon said that if Daisy were so sure of the future of her people, that she should look into that, helped by his magic without her armor, and see if she could withstand the future that she so greatly hoped for.
seems like a dick.
And as an added line with the crit, you almost begin to hear Daisy's voice in your head. Sounds a bit older, but she says, he told me that humanoids should not have magic. They could not wield it, and if I were to be the future of my people, I would have to prove that I could wield my magic without mishap, without problem. For if we cannot hold the magic in the future, if we cannot hold the magic in the present, what hope did we have to control magic in the future? And I admit, part of me did realize that he had a point. The text begins to pull at you, Prospering. There is a twisting in your mind as you start to hear whispers, a voice you've not heard in some time. At the corner of your eye as well, you swear you catch a glimpse of the owner of this voice. I'm watching you. I'm waiting.
Oh no.
From the shadows to the side, she smiles.
So with that, you guys watch. So Prospering is already kind of like a pale guy. You watch color drain from Prospering.
Caldea.
Like, if you've ever seen somebody get scared and watch their entire body just tense up, you watch Prospering do that and grip the desk until his fingers are completely white, just like the rest of his face.
So again, you especially begin to realize that this is coming to a head, whatever's happening here. You are either about to unlock the information before whatever this switch in this magical property of this trap is unlocked, or you're gonna have to unlock it whilst the trap goes off.
I hate this.
Isn't this good? Isn't reading books fun? Ah!
This is terrifying. Oh no.
And all of you actually hear the word whispered into your ear, although you don't know where it comes from. Caldea. Dravrax, you're fine. You don't hear shit.
Craprex is fine. You hear
La
nothing.
la la la.
Just reading some books, hanging out.
Time to check out this captain. I wonder what he's been up to.
Mhm.
Okay, so question, are there certain checks that like complete this if I like
one more
succeed,
success,
or-
one more success completes this. No matter what check you use, like
Okay.
one more success completes this before the bad results happen. Part of the trap goes off regardless in the end of round 3. So you'll still have time to complete the text, but something will happen. If you fail the challenge, however, and round 3 occurs, the worst possible outcome will go ahead.
Dear God.
And
Okay.
I will also say this. You would probably know Prospering by this point well enough that he really does not like to lose at anything or fail
That's-
at anything.
Yep.
So he probably would want you to go forward just so he does not fail. But you can very much see that he is terrified at the moment.
Oh, love that. Love. Thanks for the lack of, pressure. It's great. Okay, so I have an idea of, I don't know if this is gonna work as the kind of check that I want, but Aegon is just based on everything that's going on. Aegon recognizes that it is something obviously linked to, not necessarily mind reading, but there's something going on where it's like messing with the thoughts and things in our head. Being a monk and being of this kind of order, I want to use a survival check to go into like a meditative state to like remove thoughts, so it like helps clear the slate so it's not pulling from anything that Aegon's thinking of.
What skill would that be?
I think
like insight,
survival.
but survival,
insight,
okay.
like I can do insight too.
Have you
That's
already
fine.
used insight though in this skill challenge?
Have I used insight? Was that my last one, or was
you
that?
used insight? Yeah, that was your last one.
Did I? Okay,
so if you want this to be survival,
Mhm.
I'm gonna need you to tell me how you came to be a monk of this order. Like what along the way happened from you, like how what does that look like in your lore and your backstory?
Okay, so Way of the Astral Self came to Aegon as part of like kind of a dream, in being that's the
Okay.
order that they are meant to follow.
Mm-hmm.
Astral Self being kind of connected to the Fae because of backstory and things of that nature. So it is very much like being pulled between two different planes, and Astral Self is like the closest representative for monk status that Aegon could grasp onto without really understanding why it was such a big pull in their
Okay.
in their journey.
Can Sven help with this check?
You already had your go this round. Yours was the first success of this round. And then Seymour
okay.
gave the help
I thought we
action
were in
to...
here.
No. This is at the end of round 2 right now.
Okay, I see.
So you are part of the reason why it's potentially able to succeed this second round without any downsides. Yeah, you can go ahead and use survival.
Oh, buddy.
Yes!
Okay. So the following happens. Oh, I'm so disappointed. So the following happens. As you peer into this book, you realize again that the ink that was already on Seymour's thumb begins to expand. You see Prosperine go completely white. And all around you, the torches that are on the wall that are supposed to have like these eternal, like non-flammable flames, they begin to flicker quite violently and almost dim, especially in one corner of the room. Books almost in your vision seem to like begin to tease themselves out of the shelves, and as you quickly try and center yourself and focus on block everything out and focus on the task at hand in front of you, meditate, you are able to silence the world around you. And in doing so, two things happen. The first is that you begin to understand that this passage is the vision that she saw, that Daisy saw, for the future of Xantifar. And it was in that future that she saw that there was no hope. That in the end, Loxodon were unable to control the magic as it was too wild in Arcavios. The two planes that had slotted over each other were the things that born the dragons themselves, but the creatures that came from the merging of those two planes after the fact were not in tune with the elemental like sort of properties of those two planes fusing. And so without the dragon's assistance, there was no hope for Xantifar. With a second realization, though, it also came apparent to Daisy that the dragons would not help them, for they had other goals. And so she denied them, at least for herself. And there's a sort of murky part to the text here which still doesn't make full sense to you. She ends the speech by saying, with no possible future for Xantifar or for Loxodon, I could not face the world. I had a choice. I could sink myself into the world, just like Xantifar would once, eventually, and become part of it, hoping there to find myself in the mix of all things. Or I could choose to depart it and make haste for somewhere else, wherever that place may be. I stopped wearing my armor that day. I chose to decide my fate by seeing into the future of what might come. Were the one place the dragons were afraid of ever to be discovered. And into it I fell. And there I departed. And these words will be the last thing that exist of me until you find me at that one place where the two planes align and the dragon's end is born. And with a snap, the text, the trap of the text almost breaks, and there's a crackle and a slight flash of energy as the monologue, this piece of poetry basically, is or poetic prose, is fixed into a monologue that is readable. And so this is something now that Drozimir or Quintilius or whomever could choose to read. But there is one last thing that happens, Aegon. And as you center yourself and you find yourself fixated for a moment, blocking everything else out, you don't necessarily notice this because you begin to find yourself walking back into that dream that first pulled you into your own power, the ability to control the way of the astral self. And you're walking in a meadow where the blades of grass dance and the trees flutter and the pink sun radiates through the purple canopy, and you find yourself standing at the edge of a reflective surface that shows you, and you are shining, and the water below you seems so deep and shines too. And below it there are faces that peer up at you from below. Round faces, golden feathers, dark eyes and a beak. And they smile. And that is when the snap happens and the magic fades, and you are back in the room.
What'd I miss?
Go ahead.
Oh
wait, I don't speak that language. Never mind.
I know it looks to be like translated in to common now, modern day parlance.
I can read the letter now.
Should we
And
though?
that's some dark shit.
I think this is an appropriate piece of music. The name of it was, not the sound. I'll choose something else.
You're like, oh, this is way too cheery.
There you go.
Well, I think I know where she is. Not necessarily the exact location, but I have a suspicion. But I don't even know if it exists. Or where it exists.
What is it?
It's where the two planes met, the Moragitsu Kesh. The center of it all. And it sounds like that's where she went. I don't know if she's actually dead. Or who I talked to in the ruins, if that wasn't her. But Drozimir, you absolutely cannot read that for the talent show. I'm so sorry.
This looks bloody awful.
Yeah, I had a suspicion it wasn't going to be that great.
I mean, it's a powerful piece, though. Can you imagine? But,
It's
no, I don't really fancy reading that. I'm sure I can find something else. Maybe Dravrex is feeling something over there.
oh yeah, where is Dravorax?
Hello.
Who, me?
Dravrex, did you want to make one last roll?
Yeah.
For the other one.
Sure. Same roll.
Different.
History. Different.
Yeah, I want
Perception.
Go
For the
for
captain?
yeah, to try and I guess to try and find the name of the shells and stuff. That's fine.
I hate it.
That's fine.
Hopefully 15's enough.
Casual +6. Nice.
Mhm.
You note that for Captain Ronyo Yersel, they were a tactician and logistician and had a knack for navigating the tough mountainous regions to establish trade routes and supply chains. They became a hero when they successfully stopped a magical avalanche that was said to be caused by Galazeth Prismare. As they were making, him and his unit were making, her and her unit were making moves into dragon territory. The Loxodon town Ronyu protected was beginning to tap into the power of the mountain itself, and were using that to wield it against their enemies that were trying to encroach upon them. But such thing was against draconic law at the time, and so though she was able to protect her town, she perished whilst doing so.
Perished while protecting it from the avalanche?
Yes. She expended all of her magic at once to
I see. What
keep
was the
it back.
town's name?
It doesn't say. Seems to be lost to history. These are like myths and legends of these people. It wasn't Xanthafar. Okay.
So it says.
Not to rush you all, but Drozimir looks over at his I don't want to say watch, clock candle, and you see that it is
Candle? Wait a
They're
minute.
real things. They're real things. They are
Stop
legit
here.
things.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the Romans
Go
use
on.
them.
Go on.
Is it British, perhaps?
And then
British.
also they're in Avatar, and they like have gunpowder at every hour in the wick, and then they go, and they pop as many hours it is, and it's really cool. He looks at the wax on the clock candle, and it seems that you have your time is coming to an end, and you need to get ready for your exam.
How's Prospering doing?
He has not moved or said anything.
Aegon's gonna like skitter over and just like start poking Prospering to see if he comes to. Hey bud, are you with us?
So you hear him muttering to himself. No, she can't find me. I can't face her. I'm not strong enough. She'll take me away. And you just hear this like almost over and over and over.
She can't get you here, bud. Does anybody know who he's talking about? Guys?
Who?
Rex comes
Prospering.
over. Prospering, did you, gosh, I've seen you look better. Did you have a bad sandwich or something at the cafe? Tisk, you really gotta watch out for these things here.
Rex.
Hmm?
I think there's something a little more serious going on, and he like Aegon like motions to Prospering, just looking like a crazy person in a complete trance. I think it's a little more serious than that.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Gosh.
I don't
Does
know how
anyone
I
know?
said that as
I
you.
don't. I don't know either.
What the fuck? That's
Funny,
so
hilarious.
weird.
My character's like highlighted in a little square. I don't know if you.
I can make you say anything.
Jeez,
Yes.
that's what you chose.
for me. Okay. All right.
Amazing.
Okay, I'll stop. This is great.
It's the right
What is?
thing.
I like big
Amazing.
books and I cannot
Yes,
lie.
go ahead.
Oh my goodness.
Oh no, this is like gonna be his door thing.
Yep.
Yes.
If you get that, we get doors.
You've already had doors, so I guess I do get this.
Yeah, so Aegon's just busy trying to help Prospering come to and looks around at everyone else and is like, guys, do you have any idea what he's talking about? Who is she?
Prosperine, who are you talking about?
After several more minutes, Prospering, you can see some of the tension in his hands has loosened. He is still very pale. But he does answer your question. She's the one who made me like this. She's the one who owns me.
Oh God, is she here?
Thank you.
I mean, she can't find you, bud. She's there's no one here. Aegon
Great
like
Mother.
nervously looks around like, do I see anything?
And he tells you the Great Mother Caltea was the one who cursed me.
Wait, I heard that. Did anybody else hear that?
Did we all hear that, or was it just Aogan?
You all heard the word. Fuck. 1 second. You all heard the word Caltea. Is that what you're referring to, or was there something else?
Yeah.
Yes.
I did also hear that.
Dravrax didn't. That's the only person who didn't.
Bloody
What?
well happened with you all.
Quite a bit. You missed quite a show, Dravrax. I'm surprised.
Well, I learned my own information.
And you
I hope everyone's okay.
you watch Prospering like abruptly get up, and just say, I would like to leave. And he just begins walking out.
As you begin walking out and you get to about here, a book falls off a shelf flat in front of you.
No, I'm not again.
Again.
I make sure Casey
You-
Delaney isn't going to push the bookshelf over.
Out of impulse, as Prospering is still in this fight or flight kind of mode, you watch him just cast a firebolt.
Oh my.
It's just a book.
Rex mends the book.
Well,
okay.
no.
That book came
Yeah.
right for Prospering. How dare you repair it?
And you're Prospering just you're right. It is just a book. And he like reaches down and picks it up and looks at it.
The title of the book is
I'm gonna get you.
no. I'm trying to think of some illustration. 1 second. Curses and counter magic.
Prospering turns to Drasimir and asks, "Can I take this with me, or can I have it reserved for me to come and check out later?
Usually these books can't really be taken out of these sections. They've got quite powerful properties to them, as well as we all just found out. I can.
Can I leave it with you?
Yeah. I can try and get you in again. I don't know when it will be.
I would definitely appreciate that.
He smiles, and as he does so, please, apart from Darax, will increase your relationship with Drazdemir by 1. Up to a maximum of 2. Was it? Fuck, what was that again? Yeah, I think up to a maximum of 2. If you've got 2 already, let me know and I'll double check it. He smiles at you and walks over and sort of pats you on the back and takes the book from you, makes a note of it, and places it back into the shelf from where it came from. Good luck, you.
Oh, go ahead.
Good luck, you first years on your exam.
Oh, right. Thanks. Yeah, I guess we should get going, guys.
Let's go then.
Drazdemir, is there somewhere you can hide this text? Referring to the text that they all have looked at and read.
Well, I can just hide it in here. I don't really. The archivists keep a pretty keen record of everything. If we were in here and a book goes missing in between us being in here, then, well, especially with Dragon's Guard around,
Will anybody else? I mean, does anybody else come in here regularly?
It's quite booked up, but I mean, the likelihood of them looking for this specific book, I don't know.
I think that the information in this book could be very dangerous in the wrong hands. But perhaps I'm just being paranoid.
I don't think it should be available for... Well, I take that back. What if this is what the students should know?
It's not exactly the students that I'm worried about. But perhaps somebody, if anybody has been looking for Daisy, if anybody suspects that she did what she did, she could be in danger if anyone found this.
I'd have to. I have to agree with you.
Do?
We'll explain it to you on the way. But yeah, Drazdemir, just make sure it's in a, I guess, safe location somewhere in here. We'll figure out what to do with it.
Drazdemir is. Do you understand what I'm saying here? Do you agree with me?
I mean, it's a sad piece of text, and I guess am I missing something? He kind of like looks quizzically at you all. Is there more to this than just this piece of text?
we don't.
We're not sure right now, but we suspect that someone might be in danger if the wrong people got their hands on this document. Is there any way that we could just temporarily keep this off the shelves while we try to find out if there's more to this? Not you know, not for a long time. We're just asking for a little bit of time to just put this in hiding.
Or can we get this book to Plarg?
Well, yeah, I was thinking maybe we should
Oh.
get him here to look at it.
I am.
Would a professor be able to take this document?
Oh yeah, for sure. If not, though, I do have maybe a solution. Sort of be making friends with one of the and he goes very red and quiet for a moment and says, with one of the archivists, they're quite nice. I could ask them to maybe put the book on hold or something.
Yeah, that would be really helpful, Casimir.
Which archivist is this? If you don't mind me asking.
Well, I call them Rose, but I think they're just archivist number 9.
Oh, is an archivist a robot? Okay.
He's
That
like
sounds great,
completely
Casimir.
red-faced right now.
That sounds great. If Rose could just keep that on hold for us while we go and get Plarg after our exams, that would be really helpful.
I'll put it. I'll get Rose to put it on hold for Professor Plog then.
Great. Tell them thank you from us.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Drasimir.
No.
Yeah, and sorry about your talent show bit.
So I'll find something else. It's probably there's a play about a tempest that I quite like.
Perfect.
15.
He when you speak, he kind of shirks a little.
I don't know. I'm in a mood today.
Mood today.
I think it's all the popularity in Driver X's
Oh my
head.
Got that super popular boyfriend.
Yeah.
Just
If he actually wins the talent show, there's no stopping Driver X at this point. He's going full disaster. Stop me at all costs. That's basically what I'm saying.
okay. Yep. Noted.
Yeah, well, I guess we can just get going, guys. I think we only have a little bit till our exam, so.
Okay. So, yeah, you're all able to head off and go to the exam. Anything anybody wants to do before then, or should we just cut to the exam?
I would like to. No, never mind.
You sure?
Prospering is going to get a letter sent off to his family about the pool party.
Okay, nice. See if you can bring an interdimensional pool into Strixhaven. Nice.
Not about meeting your she demon, possibly just mom and dad
there's a pool party I'm planning.
Yep.
Awesome.
Prospering has his priorities straight.
I love it.
But he will also like put in the notes, like, I heard her name. She called out to me.
Okay. You probably didn't have time to do that before the exam, but like I'll take that down as like you doing it in this day. There'll obviously be time within the day to do it. Awesome. Okay. So you'll get to the exam and I am gonna ask for another quick break. Can we come back at 5 past? Is that right?
Sure.
So we'll be back at 5 past and then we'll start the exam proper. All right, see you in a bit. Hello.
Hello.
Are we all green light to go?
Green light.
Green light.
Green light.
I see that green light.
It's quiet
I
and
want it.
Thomas is muted.
Sorry, he's here.
Okie doke. So,
Hello.
hiya. As you all sit down for your exam, you feel like you've already had a practical part of it, you could say. But this is now the theory, and you are required to write a piece about yourself and then perform it. The process here is that you need to reflect on the meaning of the piece and delve into the truth of yourself, and then express that meaning and the emotion behind it to your peers. So it's going to be an insight roll at first, followed by performance. Just as a reminder to everybody, we did do a study roll at the end of last session, or partway through it. No, it wasn't even. It was like right at the start. That's a lie. And the results were... I wrote them down in chat.
That everyone got an extra roll? Is that what you have?
No. Going through the past rolls and seeing all those constricts and restraint conditions. Oh, psychic knife. Nice.
Oh, psychic knife.
Love that. Tinker's tools. Okay, so as far as I have it, those of you that have study roles are as follows. So, okay, it didn't do the thing, but that's fine. Prosperin's got 1, Seymour's got 1 because you pulled an all-nighter. Sven's got 0, Jodrox has 1, Aegon's got 0. So, those of you who study die, those are re-rolls if you need it. So first I'm going to need an insight roll from everyone as you dive deep, center yourselves, and try and establish kind of like the piece you're writing, the thoughts and feelings. What are people writing the piece about that they're going to perform? Could be an experience you've had in the past, could be something about Strixhaven, but what are people going for?
I was gonna say I would tell you after I rolled, and now I don't want to. Dravex is being very insightful right now.
What is Aegon's roll about?
Just Aegon hates public speaking. Hates
Same.
having to talk about themselves. So this is just an awful assignment for them. So they're just like picking a random story about the farm and hoping it
Nice.
works.
Nice. Seymour, you gonna reroll that, or are you keeping that one for this check?
I think I gotta re-roll it.
Okie doke. And then let us know what you're writing about.
Oh, I got a 4.
Oh,
Big guys.
Well,
So what is Seymour writing about?
I'm a little stumped. Oh no, I cannot believe I just spilled water on my notebook, actually.
Nice. What is
Sorry.
Prosperi writing about?
What was the assignment again?
Gotta just write a piece about yourselves that you're about to perform.
That we have to perform. Oh,
So
dear.
Don't
the
panic.
insight is to write something that like conveys enough meaning, like a script for yourself, or
Yeah.
something that conveys enough meaning and emotion. And you're supposed to do this in a like set piece of time. That's what the like challenge is, to get it succinct and good enough to perform in a moment's notice?
Prospering will write write a story about the Trunk gang's like first battle together.
Cute. And what is Sven writing about?
Sven will write about the philosophy of imbuing magic onto inanimate objects.
Okay. Uh, quite the insightful self piece, I guess. But yeah, so anyone who didn't get a DC of 13 or more, unfortunately, doesn't get that first part. But does it mean you failed the exam yet? As long as you pass the second part, then you're fine.
That -1 to performance. I'm real excited about
You've
this.
got slay.
Is this a moment or a feeling? More
What do you mean?
that we are describing, that we're writing about.
Either or, it just needs to be a piece that you can perform, really. Yeah.
But like, how are you performing it?
You
per
stand up
se?
in front of the class and you read out your piece, adding whatever you want to it, and giving a performance. So it is now the performance section.
Yeah, I'll do mine on the theories of astral travel, and then
Nice.
Gravex
Okay.
is doing his on the last meeting he had with his mother.
Oh my. Okay. Well, it's time to perform. So let's go in order. So Dravrax, I'm going to need a performance check from you, please.
Okay. Gonna re-roll that, and I'm gonna use inspiration.
Okay.
$18,
Nice.
nice.
So how does the performance go? What's it?
Whew. I think Draverax goes up, and before he even starts reading, people who are very perceptive could see like a small tear like start welling up in his eyes. That's like that's in my opinion the reroll, because he's about to lose it. But he stills himself, and Draverax reads out the story that basically he doesn't get into all the details, but because of past events, as a cleric of Eldoth, he's only able to see his mother usually once a year for a single day, and it's always the day always ends up shorter than he wants it to, and it doesn't always end up all nice and fun and lovely every time, because his relationship with his mother is strained because she's never there and misses everything in his life. But he used the thaumaturgy to like change his eyes to her color when he's reading lines from her, and uses like lights and like the light and his bead and such to kind of like change and make little radiance like effects for like her entrance and exit being very holy and things like that. Yeah. It's a solemn little light show.
How is
Nice.
anyone gonna top that?
Well, Aegon is indeed next. So how does Aegon try and top that? Let's have a look at the roll.
It's gonna be so ugly. Okay, I do have a question though. We haven't had a scene where I'm in one of my extracurriculars, but I do have a D4 to performance because I'm in the Distinguished Society of Fine Arts.
Perfect. Then you can get that on this if you need it.
If I need it, you're so funny. Oh, okay.
See, I just thought you'd roll so low that it wouldn't matter.
What is happening?
So...
I did. You're absolutely right.
Perfect.
Oh, God.
Okay then. So tell us how this piece about the farm goes.
Aegon doesn't even get a word out before they get sick and have to run off stage.
Nice, solid.
Aw.
So unfortunately, you have failed.
Yep.
Seymour, it's your turn.
Travrex runs over and tries to console or help
Aw.
Aegon.
Oh.
They more
Yeah,
claps.
I hate it. Oh God, I hate it. Oh God.
It's okay. You'll get it. We'll work on it. I'll help you.
Thanks. I don't see how anybody's gonna help me. That's so bad. Oh, I have to do it all over again in summer school. This is gonna be awful.
No. We'll get you some experience, prior experience talking in front of people, and we'll work through those that nervousness, and it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Okay.
Seymour kind of like shuffles his note cards together. I hope this goes well. Yes.
Way nice.
So Seymour worked on like a bit of a diagram
Mm-hmm.
of like it's like shows like a theoretical system and depicts like these spheres, and it explains how the spheres all float in space together, and the ones like the plane where the gods sit, the plane where we sit, which is the prime material plane.
Got you.
And just it kind of describes all that. And then it goes into how what was their name? Was it Doof or Daisy who went missing?
Wait, what do you mean?
Is it Daisy who went missing? Because
Daisy's the prophet that you just had the reading
Yes.
about.
Yeah. I just want to make sure because I want to include that though, like
Ah.
sneak it in so people can learn about it if they read or pay attention to our.
Interesting. I think so. I
Yeah.
think your performance is like really captivating and stuff. So you do pass the exam, but obviously because the piece isn't necessarily about yourself and you're more explaining a concept, then I think that's why the insight, the first part of it, is a bit right.
you
But
got it.
the
Yeah.
teacher gives you a pass, so that's pretty good. Prosperine, it's your turn. Performance, please.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Prosperine's taking the good rolls from Aegon now.
What's happening?
Oh.
Yeah, how are you so good at this?
So how does
You didn't stay up all night. How are you so good at this?
how does your performance go? Oh yeah, and you do have exhaustion now, Seymour.
Great, thank you.
So Prosperine, he will use like a mix of some of his cantrips, Prestidigitation, Light, and Firebolt, to kind of mimic how the first fight went, and kind of use those spells as like special effects.
Nice. Yep. That's good. I like that. I think the performance goes off pretty well. And yeah, you managed to ace the exam. And then last but certainly not least, Sven. Give us a performance check, please, and then let us know how it goes.
Okay. So it's a performance check. So I'm gonna get a D4.
Okay.
That's what I said.
I am also going to use my inspiration.
Nice. You've got this. I believe in you. Hey! Very good. So how does the performance go? Talking about all that good stuff with a 21.
So Sven talks about how the fundamental requirements of sentience are the same as the fundamental requirements for being granted the same rights and dignities that are afforded all biological sentient beings, and that the creation of life is something that needs to be perhaps considered more seriously in both Strixhaven and the magical world in general.
Yeah. Again, I think the performance is really good, but maybe the content of it wasn't necessarily like people didn't take it to be so personal. But you do indeed pass. So the results of it are as follows. A again failed. Big sad. Dravrex aced. Timor passed. Prospering aced. And Sven passed. So well done. And as you kind of finish off the class, you find out, like, you know, some cool parts about your other classmates. But
To say, does anyone actively go like, "Oh no"? Like, or is Melbathorn with us in this class at all?
yeah, Melathorn would be in this class.
Yeah.
Melathorn talks about the reason he came to. Actually, you know what? Like, what does Melathorn talk about? Let's quickly get that up. Melathorn talks about the fact that they left home to come to Strixhaven to try and find a way of stopping this slow but persistent fungal thing that seems to feed off like nature and turn things to be corrupt and evil, that is permeating throughout their home forest. It's known as the Blight. And he talks about how this has affected his family and village, and how it's shaken his like core beliefs in his religion and stuff. Is there anyone else?
What is shaking it? Sorry.
Huh? This is Melathorn.
Said something. No, Benji.
What?
I just misheard you because my my headset cut out. What shook his beliefs?
Oh, the Blight taking over the forest that he's from.
Yeah. No, Dravrex is not trying to engage with Melthorn yet at the moment.
Any other PCs anyone really wants to know about? No PCs, NPCs.
Is Javernesh in this class?
No, they're a second year.
Okay.
Actually, wait, Javernesh might be because they need to retake things. You know what? I'll say yes. Javernesh.
Oh god, I'm like, Javanesh, no!
Javernesh talked about how he was on the wrong side of things before he came to Strixhaven. But since being here, he's learnt to process his frustration through like Silk Ball and stuff, and kind of like the found family he's gotten through Silk Ball and music are like things that really send to him and allow him to focus on magic and improving his natural talents. As you finish the class, you are approached by a gaggle of NPCs, each beginning to excitedly talk about their preparations for the talent show that is coming up that evening. They note that some of them need to make final touches and stuff, but Nora, for example, asks you how you're all feeling and if you need any last minute props or anything for the show. She needs to go off and sort that out, and she stops by the class knowing that a bunch of first years are just finishing their exam. If I can do anything to help you, do let me know.
Yeah, Nora, actually, I could use a couple of things if you wouldn't mind.
Oh?
Yeah, and Aegon like motions to take her like to the side so nobody else hears this.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is absolutely crazy, and I don't know why I want to do it, but I totally failed this exam, so that neither here nor there. But
Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that.
It's terrible, but I would really like to perform a story at the talent show, and I need some help to not die on stage.
Okay. Well, if you don't actually want to be on stage, we could either put you in an outfit that kind of blocks you from view, or we could even use magic to project images and things. Maybe Sven could help with that. I don't know if they've got their own thing.
Everyone, I don't want them to kind of know. So I'll figure something out. But yeah, maybe that projection thing might work. That would be interesting.
Yeah, no, sure. I can
tell
get that
anybody
started.
that I'm doing that.
No, of course. You got
Great.
it.
Thanks.
And she gives you a big smile. She says, I'm a bit gutted because it means I've got so much to sort out still, and I heard people are going to play Beholders and Behears. I've never actually played it before, but I hear it's getting pretty popular.
I think my friends were interested in doing that.
Oh,
I mean, I'd be open to like letting them go and do that, and I could help you set up, and we could figure out kind of how to set up for what I want to do.
Run in,
oh, I mean,
put the gate up.
if you want to come by, you can, but
Sorry, guys.
I'm more than happy to. I've been working on my She like looks to the left and right, and she says, "I've been working on my oozes a little bit. Sharpbeak's been helping me, and I think I've really caught on to something. And if people see a bunch of oozes moving behind, they usually get a bit freaked out. But I can control them now to help me set things up, so I think I'll be okay."
Okay, well, yeah, I'm happy to help in any way if you need it.
Okay, how about maybe after the talent show, if you got time, you can help me clear up? That would be a lot more helpful.
Yeah, sure, that'd be great. I
Okay.
wouldn't mind doing that.
I look forward to it. And she gives you a smile.
Okay, well, thanks.
No, for sure. See you in a bit. And as you like part, she kind of like turns over her shoulder to kind of look at you. Have you also turned to look at her, or do you just scamper away?
I skitter away.
Nice. The conversation quickly begins after people have started talking about the performance. People now seem to be gearing up and readying themselves to go to the Aerodaunt field, where apparently a game of Beholders and Behears is taking place. you can either take some time before the talent show to work on what you want to do, or you can go to the Beholders and Behears game. The choice is yours. On the line for the Beholders and Behears game, there's apparently so the Beholders and Behears game, just to kind of like explain, is a strange sort of mini game version of what Mage Tower is going to be like. And one team gets a quote beholder, which is a summoned watcher, and the other team gets a behir, which is like a strange sort of basilisk lizard creature, but in this case it's going to be a crocodile, each of which have been summoned, and you've got to try and get your creature to get the finishing blow on their creature, whilst like the team tries to counter you and stuff and knock your teammates out. It's got like mechanical terms, it's got like temporary hit points and stuff to stop you losing any actual health, but yeah, it's about whoever wins that. The winner is apparently there's some magic items at stake, and there's also a cash prize of 100 gold pieces. The magic items up for grabs with it for the winning team are... One second. Two health potions and... I'm just trying to find the entry. I'll find it in a second. Meanwhile, Drasimir comes up to you afterwards and says, I just wanted to update you as well. Hello. That I've got the book on hold for whenever you want to sort that out. And well, as a thank you, I thought I should give you something. And Drasimir produces a monocle which seems to gleam. And he says, I'll use this to read in the dark if I want to get some extra reading in, and I don't want to disturb anybody. But I've got a new one on the way, and I thought, well, maybe you lot might get some use out of this. And offers it to... I think they'd offer it to... You got the crit. Prosperine? They'd offer it out to Prosperine. You seem to really put a lot on the line to help me, so maybe your group will find some use of this. And he starts explaining kind of like what it is, and it's an enchanted monocle that gains the benefits of the continual flame spell, except for it doesn't have like fire coming from it; it just sort of gleams and shimmers. So it causes light to come out of it, but only like in one direction, as in away from your eye, not blinding you. It can cast Sacred Flame through it, using your spell DC and stuff. So you basically get to add Sacred Flame as a cantrip, and it has the same properties as a magnifying glass. So you get advantage on investigation rolls and something else with the magnifying glass. You have to attune to it though. But yes, Drazimir's enchanted monocle for whomever might wish to have that. So yeah. Yes. So what are people feeling? Do you want to take part in the game? Do you want to go and talk to Plarg? Do you want to go and set up things for the talent show? Do you want to all cry into pillows and wish Strixhaven weren't so chaotic? What's the vibe?
Don't tempt A again with a good time.
I would like to talk to Plarg about the Daisy thing.
Okay.
Talent show.
You want to prepare for the talent show?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I'll say this. I'll say, obviously, playing the Aerodrome game will get the potential to win the gold and the magic items. Talking to Plarg will progress like plot and whatever you want with that. And preparing for the talent show will give you advantage on your check effectively.
Done.
Prospering will assist Drazimir with the talent show.
Okay.
He did say he would do that.
And what's Seymour up to?
Seymour is currently sleeping.
Oh, bless. Fair enough.
Yeah, he worked very hard outside on the heat today.
No worries. We need to end of the session anyway. Well, how about we do this then? We'll focus on the Sven part of this, and then we'll come back next session and we'll look at the talent show stuff, and we'll get straight into the talent show when we come back for next
Sounds
session.
fun.
Yeah.
Oh, you appeared. Hello. Good morning. So, is anyone going with Sven then, or are you all like dedicated to preparing stuff?
I mean, Aegon really wants to go with Sven, but also really wants to like have advantage on a performance roll.
Mm-hmm. Makes
Like,
sense.
The course of the universe is in one path and a talent show is in the other. That's the only one.
That's what this. I mean, this is what university is for, right? That social, the social vibes. You don't care about you don't go to university for a degree. You go to university for joining a dumb society and making bad decisions.
Sounds right.
Okay. So sounds like
I can
Sven-
declare in between sessions, right?
Well,
I
Sven's
have to
going
declare
now.
now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and have Sven go to things. So Sven, you start. Plarg seems to be on Central Campus today, and is over at, of all places, Dapplewing Manor. You find out by asking a few folk and stuff. When you get to Dapplewing Manor, you see that Plarg is what looks to be in quite a... Give me an insight check, actually, as you're trying to work out what's going on here. Nice. Looks to be quite a tense conversation with Professor Sharpbeak. Wait, why are you getting a D4?
Because you said I get a D4 in insight.
Is that from your...
It's from one of my classes. I thought
Yeah,
you
so
said that.
it's either a one-off from the classes or like what's it called? Once per long rest from your extracurriculars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not just all the time.
Okay.
But anyway, with a 20, you're fine, and you get yeah, you realize that the conversation between the two is quite tense, and as you like kind of catch a bit, it seems to be regarding two things. One, the events that happened back in at the Winter Palace, and two, the current state of the Dragon's Guard being here, and yeah, it seems Plog's not happy, and neither is Sharpbeak about it, and they are both frustrated with the situation. Although it seems like they have like slightly different angles on it.
I bet they do. Sharpie, you Janny son of a bitch. Okay. So
And as she notices you, she says, "Oh, Sven, it's nice to see you again. Can we help you with something?"
I had some. I had a question for Plarg about my coursework.
Oh, all right. She looks between the two of you, and she says, "I was pretty sure you were doing beginning Incomancy and the Quandrix one this year."
Oh,
This term.
I am. I've just I've been talking to Professor Plarg about some, just about my career in general. I found that Plarg is someone that I can easily talk to.
Well, this is a center of student counselling, so I think you're in the right place for some extra knowledge. That's good. I'll leave you both to it, and I look forward to seeing what you and your friends have to offer at the talent show later. She gives you a kind smile.
Ah, yes, thank you.
And as she goes off, give me a sec. As she goes off, she mutters something underneath her breath. You can try and give me a perception check if you want to hear what she says.
Better not be a spell. God damn it.
She mutters something about Verelda Lang and 1 second. And supplies. You don't quite catch it. Seems like it's just a thought to herself.
Huh.
Okay, so you and Plarg are in one of the offices, and he says, "You saved by the bell, it looks like. That was... Well, nice to see you again, Sven. What can I do for you? Don't think we actually have any coursework, do we? To get through.
Any what?
Coursework.
Oh, yeah. No, Professor.
You just here
are you
alone?
sure?
There's not... I can't see any of your friends around behind walls or anything, so that's...
Well, I don't think you see anything, right?
As I said, I can't see the behind walls, so I'm usually quite good at not having people sneak up on me when it's more solid places, he says, tapping his foot on the floor.
Ah. I'll remember that in case we ever have to play skill ball together.
I look forward to having a go at Silk Ball with the students in the...
Sven displaying a clear ignorance of all sports.
I wonder if actually maybe the faculty and students could do something like that. That'd be quite fun. Anyway, sorry, carry on.
Professor, are you sure that this room is safe from anybody who might want to listen in? Is the room private?
He raises an eyebrow and says, I'm pretty sure that Strixhaven, as it stands right now, has no real place that's private, but I can't see anyone around. And this is about as good a place as any. And if you're worried about people hearing things, maybe it's not something you should discuss at all. I wouldn't want you to get into any trouble.
Professor, we found something very important that has something to do with our exam in your class.
Oh? He leans forward, intent on listening.
I think to discuss it further, well, we've already discussed it on campus, so I suppose if anybody can listen everywhere, they already know it, and it's probably more important that you know it as soon as possible. We decrypted a message from Daisy, the prophet.
So Val?
The prophet Jaffa?
Yeah.
Jeff?
Juice.
Joof? The prophet Joof. We think that she might not be dead, and we think that we might know where she is.
At that, he sort of like, as if you've like blasted him with something, he kind of like falls back in his chair and says, "Sorry, what?"
Yes. Do you think that we should be talking about this somewhere else?
No, I think you're all right. Why would you think she's alive?
Because we found a trapped message that she wrote in a code in multiple languages that magically keeps itself from being read. And what we found is her tale of being, it was Lorehold, right?
What was Lorehold, sorry?
The dragon that she like saw the Silverquill, saw the
Silver
future
Quill,
with.
yeah.
She writes about meeting with Silverquill and being told that the Loxodon can't handle the magic of this place, and Silverquill showed her a future, and she saw the destruction of, what was the city again?
Xanthifar.
Of Xanthifar. She talks about understanding that Silverquill was right, and that if anybody ever decoded the message that we were reading, that she would be waiting for them in the place where the two planes meet.
The two planes have already... Okay, hold on. Shadrach Silverquill spoke to Daisy, and then after this conversation, Daisy went to where the two planes meet. Arcavios is made by two planes. So wouldn't that be anywhere in Arcavios, or is there somewhere specific you're thinking?
We think it's Morigitsu Kesh.
He like, you see his face change, and it's almost as if you like said a joke, and then he tries to like compose himself, and then he looks worried. All right, you're being serious. Okay. Where is this text?
It's in the archives. We asked Dravarax to, or Drazimir. I mean, they all look the same to Sven. We
literally
we
helped.
we told Drazimir that it was very important that nobody see this, and that that it's on hold for you right now. And I think that we should try to secure it before anybody else can see it. It's once we decoded the magic, it became legible in common, and perhaps other languages as well. All I know is that it seems like it's pretty sophisticated magic to just be a hoax.
I mean, a lot of those books in there have magical properties. That's why they're in the restricted section. How did first years like you get... You know what? It doesn't matter. I like, what's the word? Applaud. That's it. Jesus Christ. I applaud your ingenuity as always. I like your group finding ways to go about things, but you don't have like sticking your nose into things. And now you're saying there's on the record a book in holding for me to do with these things. That's well, if they do go looking into things, you do understand that the biblioplex at Strixhaven, where the dragon's found, that's going to be an interesting one for me to explain. I'm not bothered by it. I think it's a good idea. I'll definitely take a look. I'm just more making sure we're aware of potential consequences here.
I didn't know how else. If
No,
there was a better option.
I don't know either. I can't imagine there's. I mean, a text with a magical cipher on it that's made out of living ink. That in itself is a lot. It's just especially with the ruin that we've investigated last year, and now the Dragon's Guard here. There's
Professor Plarg, I never mentioned the living ink.
Right. He smiles and he says, I have spent the best part of nearly 3 decades at this university now as a teacher. And the book that you're referencing was of special interest to a colleague I used to have here at the university.
I think I know of whom you're speaking.
I mean, I'll happily tell you who, but just before I do, who do you think I mean?
Wait, who is... I can't remember any of these fucking names. You know who I'm talking about.
Well, describe anything about them, and I'll try and give you the name.
It was the person who got kicked out, right? The professor who was interested in finding the Loxodon city.
Extasnar?
Yeah, Extasnar. Was it Extasnar?
At this, he kind of just holds his finger up, and you see him sort of turning his head slightly, and then he relaxes and he says, "Still alone right now." Yes, Extasnar. They were supposed to be the head teacher of this place about 7 years ago, but it is books like that he started to take a special interest in, and it was at that point he was expelled from the university.
Extasnar is the one that there's rumors that they
He
are
leads the
leader
Awake.
of the Army.
Yeah. So, you can imagine why I would maybe know about even which book you're talking about, and also why having that book under my name on hold. I have to be careful with your group. I want to make sure I'm encouraging you at the same time as explaining why things might not be so cut and dry. Well, with the fact that you've cracked it, I think I imagine it was possibly with having some insight into who Daisy was helped along the way. So at least some good thing came of the investigations last year. I'll certainly take it out and have a look, but you must know that there are eyes on you and, well, all of us right now, but your group in particular is a known entity to the Dragon's Guard, and delving into the history of the dragon specifically, if Shadrach Silverquill spoke with Daisy or Prophet Juf, then, well, this is certainly a trail of breadcrumbs we're leading ourselves along. What do you hope to do with this information next?
Well, I had hoped that you might be able to offer us some insight on where to look next, but if you can't do that, then
Have you said Moragitsu Kesh yet? Like, has
Yes.
that been okay? He says, well, Moragitsu Kesh is, as far as I know, a myth within a myth. It's older and even more lost than Xanthophyre would be if it even existed at all.
so out of game, how do people feel about Plarg?
We love Plarg.
Do we all love Plarg? Does anybody not love Plarg?
I think we all like Plarg.
Okay. I pull the like semi-sphere magnifying glass out of my apron.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if you can. I don't know what the actual effects of this thing are, and so I don't know how much of it is strictly sight-based. But when we were on another plane during the dorm incident,
The
this
Durham incident.
ended up. Do you not know about us being pulled into another plane and having to fight phase spiders?
Wait, what the flying? No, what?
Seems like that would be something that every professor would know of by now, but
When did this happen?
oh, this was last night. We woke up to a shriek and we found that the dorms of several students had been smashed together. We ended up in each other's rooms, but they weren't our rooms because they seemed to have all been merged into a different dimension. We found that there were webs, there were invisible webs everywhere.
Leave me the fuck alone.
Are you okay, Figo?
I'm sorry. Oh my god, my cat just attacked my ankles. And I was just talking to him.
Leave me the fuck alone. Yes, Van.
We found a large feather and this. Okay, never mind. I don't say anything about a large feather because I don't know about it.
Okay.
So we found this, and I looked into it, and this is not just a magnifying glass. I see other things in it, another place.
He holds out his hand and he says, well, obviously I can't see it, but I can take a look at its magical properties if you'll allow me to, if you're saying there's some magic here.
Yes, I hand it to him and I describe the world that I saw when I looked into it.
He casts some magic over it, and his kind of expression turns into one of surprise. This is a phage drop. Why? Okay, I'll start off by saying, do you think this is related to anything else going on, or could this be a separate thing?
Well, we've seen small spiders phase in and out in our dorms before, and it seemed like they often happened. It often happened along with other phenomena, and often other things attacking us.
If a phage drop is your dorms are in pocket dimensions, controlled and kept safe by the Alexa program that we have running. Is Alexa not working or something?
Alexa has been experiencing problems that I am not equipped to fix.
Right. He rubs his temples and says, if our Alexa isn't working or is turned off for whatever reason, the pocket dimension becomes not detached, but other places are able to connect to it other than the Strixhaven campus. It could be that somebody was... A Fey drop is also a pocket dimension. Well, a Fey drop specifically, this is like a calling card to that pocket dimension. It's a place in which, much like your dorms, if you know the right methods, the right command words, or have the ability to go through there, are invited, or on the whitelist, as it were, you would be able to travel through and go into that place. It's a strange, again, it's a type of Fey magic and not something the magic tells me things about such objects. I believe it's possible somebody's trying to communicate with you and they've left you this as a calling card or something, or invitation. But the spiders seem like an odd choice, and you said you were attacked?
Yes, they were not inviting us anywhere but their stomachs.
So either someone's trying to pull you in and something else is hijacking that, or he rubs his temples again. Have you got any further with the black ichor you've been finding? Was that anywhere during this process?
I don't think that we have seen that anywhere else.
So we have black ichor in turn 1. We have your dorm being taken over by phase spiders in year 2, and in the background to all of this, we've got your investigation into the history of the dragons.
Yes, I believe that about sums it up.
Of course, there's the entire fact that the Vastlands are... Is it Vastlands, Jess? I keep on forgetting.
Yeah, it's the Vastlands.
The Vastlands are now dealing with a increasing conflict between the Arik and Dragon's Guard. Just
What?
casual Strixhaven stuff.
Hang on.
I did not know that. I guess I don't know much about the Vastlands at all.
Well,
But
Gruddle
isn't that
is
where
recently
Eowyn is
taken...
from?
Oh, well, the Vastlands are a pretty big place. It's most of the area of Arcavios is pretty much the Vastlands. It's the open areas. But recently, one of the regions, Groldot, has been taken over by the Dragon's Guard. Apparently, the Arik were using it as a hidey home. We found this out, remember? And he's like talks to you quietly. He says, apparently, Gabby was there to try and take the
Yeah, what
Ice Palace
happened?
magic for the.
What happened to her?
I've had no contact with her since. Maybe it's Gabby that's trying to. Although she's got no reason to be in a fight, and I've never thought she'd used spiders. I don't want to point fingers, but that your friend Prospering, they have something fey about them, don't they? They came here under the... Well, it was under advisement when they arrived that they had a curse or something. They were hexblood.
Yes, I believe that is the case.
Obviously, Strixhaven accepts all, and if they're anywhere... Oh, well, I was about to say if they're anywhere to be protected from outside magic, it would be Strixhaven, but... As long as Alexa's running, I suppose that's the case. Anyway, he shakes his head. Maybe it's something to them or one of your other group members. This might be well, it might be nothing and it might be everything to do with the dragons, but this seems fey to me. As I said, it's a fey drop and he hands it you back.
Professor, how do the archivists identify biological beings or people in general?
How do they identify? You'd have to ask somebody from Quandrix about that. I don't know enough about the archivists. Give me a statue, I can tell you a few things, but those robots, well, they're a bit too present in the future for my historical liking. Look, I'll take the book out. I'll read what I can about it, but it doesn't surprise me that hundreds of years ago, it's no secret, for example, that the dragons and before Strixhaven was founded took a very different approach to how they govern the flow of magic. But whatever the case, the dragons are created by the very weave of Strixhaven, by the very weave of Arcavios itself. They're born from it. Where the snarls have the most tangles in the weave of magic between the two planes, and well, evidently at some point they decided that something changed enough to open up a place like Strixhaven and to open it up to the different planes of existence. This is why, and magic in Arcavios, especially Strixhaven, so close to the snarl at the center of the biblioplex, is well, quite chaotic, which, you know, works great for me, but strange things can happen here often, and sometimes it's the more that you delve into the history of the dragons, the more you, it is not a good history. This is something that Excess Nara was quite emphatic about, and it is definitely something that has been dragon washed away from the current teachings, especially here in Arcavios. Everything and everyone should be under suspicion when you look at history. But when if first you're trying to get through your lessons and go through the day-to-day processes of being at Strixhaven, I want to remind you that you can have a life outside of, well, whatever is going on with this history you're uncovering now. You have done right by bringing it to my attention. I'll of course keep you updated, but I worry you might end up missing out if you follow paths like this. I would hate for the same strict nature of how history and magic are governed at times in Strixhaven and Arcavios to affect you the same way it has affected friends, colleagues, and students of mine in the past too. You understand Exus Nar left for similar reasons, and it is the basis upon which the Eureka are founded.
Professor Plarg, did you know the student that went looking for... Never mind.
Okay.
I'm gonna retcon that question.
Why?
Let's circle back to that when I talk to Plarg next.
Okay. I mean, I had an answer for it straight away, but cool. He says out loud one final thing. He says, "I have to be careful with you lot about. I want to encourage you to obviously find what you want to about history. And I'm not trying to discourage your research, but This is literally how the elite were radicalized in the first place. There is bad on both sides. History is never so black and white. My goal here, again, is to just make sure that students are given as much knowledge in a safe environment as possible to go out and make something of themselves in the future, and to make sure that Arcavius and whatever planes that the students come from are the best and most protected places that they can be.
I appreciate you looking out for us.
Well, he taps his eyes as best I can.
Aha!
He smiles.
Well, thank you for looking into it. I shall talk to you again soon.
Are you going to be at the talent show later?
I believe I will be.
All right, I'll sit there and pretend to watch.
Excellent.
The honesty for me.
I'll stand there and pretend to be interested in it.
Yeah, it smiles and offers to shake your hand.
And Sven reaches out and shakes and then leaves.
Nice.
I don't actually know if we are all friends.
Whoa.
Wow.
And with that,
That's-
that is where we're going to end today's.
On that comment.
Okay, I'm just going to quickly end the stream and then I'll be right back. So that is the end of today's session. Thank you very much for watching. And got some cool information there. Didn't quite get the combat encounter, I thought, but I mean, this is good. This is what players are supposed to be able to do, you know? Skill challenge, avoid the thing, ace it, bish bash bosh, some creepy lore stuff. Let's go.